Hello. Welcome back to my indigo journey if you've been here before, or welcome to my indigo journey if this is your first time. I am a psychic medium, and I have been for going on 2 decades now, and I use my gifts to try and help everybody that I can. And so today I have for you a reading for the whole collective for the month of September 2023. However, if you're seeing this reading at a different time, it will still apply to you. You'll see it when you're meant to. This is going to be a general reading for the month of September, and it's going to be a pick a card reading. Now, what I'm going to do in a few moments is put up 4 options on screen in front of you, and you'll be able to choose whichever option calls to you. You can meditate on it. Sometimes you just have a snap decision, oh, that group's for me. You can use a random number generator, however you want to decide which group is for you. Then, once you've decided which group is yours, head down to the pinned comment or the description box where I'll leave timestamps for all of the groups. And you use those timestamps to go to your group, and that's your reading. Do keep in mind that this is a general reading for the collective, so not everything that I say will likely resonate with you. Just take what you think applies. And always remember, I will never reach out to solicit you for a reading, but I am always here if you need one, and I'll leave a link to my website in the description box below if you are interested in a personal reading. And with all that out of the way, let's get on to the choices. Hey Group 1, you chose the Lemonade Ice Pop. Tart and refreshing. Nice. For your affirmation of the month, you have Ocean Jasper. I choose to be joyful and grateful. My emotional well-being is at peace. We will come back to this near the end of the reading with the obstacle you need to overcome for the month. Now, I thought it would be fun to start this month's reading with a rune cast, and then we'll get some clarifiers from the tarot afterwards. So these are my hematite runes, and I'm just going to cast them over my mat. Next, I'll remove any that didn't land on the mat or landed face down, and then we'll see what the messages are from the remaining runes. I'll start with the first house, which is Self. It seems like you have the potential to really expand your horizons this month. And since that rune is evenly overlapping your advice and guidance house, that says to me that you should definitely strive to keep an open mind and be open to new ideas and ways of thinking of things. Next is Home and Family, and it looks like there's some kind of secret you're unaware of, and it's something unavoidable. Don't get nervous though, it's not necessarily a bad thing. When I pull tarot cards, hopefully we can shed some light on whatever it is. For your general health and well-being, you're being urged to do something creative. Writing, poetry, drawing. Indulge in something creative that you like to do. Exercise that left side of your brain. That train song, Hey Soul Sister, just popped into my head. The one that goes, your lipstick stains on the front lobe of my left side brains. You know, hey soul sister, ain't that Mr. on the radio, stereo. So maybe listen to that song if you know it. But I also see a reminder here to stay grounded and get things done that are important to you as well. Whether that's laundry, going to the gym, cleaning the house, getting to work on time, just don't let your creative outlet, whatever it is, take over. As far as finances and wealth, either something you've been working towards is going to pay off financially, or you're going to start making progress towards a long-term financial goal. Saving money for a house or a new car, or starting to contribute to a 401k for retirement, something like that. And there's someone here on the very edge of the mat That rune is for relationships. And I'm thinking an acquaintance is going to come in because of your finances, possibly to help you with starting towards your goal or giving you direction now that you're on the path. These two runes, communication and the sun, are evenly overlapping your house of career and business, so I think you're going to have some luck with work, especially if you've been trying to or plan to start trying to negotiate something, and there could be some kind of abundant gain there. Could be a raise that you're trying to negotiate, or a promotion, or some kind of collaboration that will bring more attention and notoriety toward you. In career and business, I also see an ultimate goal being met. So if you have a career goal that you've been working towards, especially if you're in the last stages of negotiating it, or if you're going to start negotiating for it, this month is a great month to get that done with both the sun and all's well that ends well in career and business. Onto your social life, you only have one rune here, but it's probably the best rune you can possibly have in your social house. It's the rune of gifts. Not necessarily monetary or physical gifts, but when it's in social situations, it's very auspicious because it represents harmony and a balanced energetic exchange. So you'll definitely have peaceful, beneficial, easy social interactions this month. Good for you, Group 1. That's awesome. Nothing in your love and partnerships this month, but that doesn't mean necessarily that nothing's going on. When I pull tarot cards, I'll get an idea of why the runes didn't have a comment on this house. And finally, for your advice and guidance, I talked at the beginning about how you should keep an open mind this month and be receptive to new ideas and new ways of thinking. The other rune in this house is ice, and it literally means to stop, freeze in place, and consider your surroundings. So paired with dawn, that means that you should stop and consider other perspectives and new ways of thinking about problems or situations. And that may show you better solutions than if you hadn't broadened your horizons this month. So just keep an open mind and consider out-of-the-box options and solutions. Okay, now let's pull some tarot cards and clarifiers to get a more in-depth message. We have the King of Swords for self, Justice for home and family, King of Pentacles for health and well-being, Queen of Pentacles for finances and wealth, Knight of Pentacles for career and business, Page of Pentacles for social life and others, Ten of Pentacles for love and partnerships, the Nine of Pentacles for advice and guidance. Wow, lots of pentacles, lots of earth energy in this spread. So it's going to be a very grounded in reality month for you, which might be why the runes are urging you to make sure that you indulge in creative pursuits and don't get too bogged down by your routines and work. All right, and for clarifiers, we have the King of Swords clarified by the Moon, Justice clarified by the Five of Swords, the King of Pentacles clarified by the Four of Swords, the Queen of Pentacles clarified by the Three of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles clarified by the Two of Swords, the Page of Pentacles clarified by the Ace of Swords, the Ten of Pentacles clarified by the King of Cups, and the Nine of Pentacles clarified by the Queen of Cups. Okay, so we have quite a mix going on. The only thing we're missing here is the Fire of Wands. So it's definitely going to be a very grounded but fast-paced month for you, judging by the minor arcana that's present here. Okay, starting with the self, the King of Swords and the Moon. The King of Swords is mental clarity and truth, while the Moon represents fears and anxieties. So I think you have the potential to have the really open mind and really expand your horizons this month, Group 1, to really see the truth and get a much better perspective on things, but you're afraid. Your fear and anxiety is holding you back. Fear of what the people you know will think of you if you start opening up your mind to think in new ways. Or perhaps the fear that if you do consider other perspectives and ways of thinking, you might lose yourself to them. I just heard you're afraid to lose what makes you you. I'm not sure why I heard that. Hopefully that makes sense to you. Nothing can make you change your mind about anything. And nothing that you change about yourself will make you not you. We're always changing and evolving. It's a good thing. I really feel like you needed to hear that. There's nothing to be afraid of. If anything, you should be afraid of never being able to shift your perspective or understand another person's ideas or point of view. That narrow scope only makes it harder for people to understand each other, and if we don't understand each other, it's that much harder to make a community where you feel safe and seen. Next, home and family. This was where there was an unavoidable secret. We have Justice and the Five of Swords. Now, Justice tells me you're definitely going to find out what this secret is. It's literally discovering the truth of a situation. And when you find out what it is, there's going to be some sort of conflict. I'm not exactly sure what this hidden thing is, but it's going to shake things up in your home. You have the rune of fate and destiny in this house as well, which means that it's going to alter things quite a bit, whatever it is. This definitely won't apply to everyone watching, and I wasn't going to say anything because it's so weirdly specific, but it won't leave me alone, so I have to say it. Only take it if it resonates, but there might be a pregnancy you don't know about. I have a feeling for at least some of you that's the secret you're going to find out about. Remember, it doesn't have to be. I just got the very strong feeling that someone needed to hear this message specifically. Again, I urge you to remember that in your advice and guidance, the runes say you would do well to stop, take a step back, and really understand the situation before making any judgments or decisions. Keep an open mind. Quick, emotional decisions aren't going to give you the best outcome here. For your health and well-being, we have the King of Pentacles and the Four of Swords. The King talks about being grounded and structured, having routines in place. However, the Four of Swords reminds you to remember to step away and rest and relax and recuperate. So again, it seems like for your health this month, you will definitely be caught up in the grind. There's a lot of earth in this reading, and a lot of air with all these swords, so things are going to be going by quickly, and you could get swept up in the routine. The cards are just reminding you, like the runes did, that you need to make some time for yourself as well. Even if you have to work it into your schedule in order to remember to do it, that's fine. Schedule half an hour at night after work to sit by yourself and write or doodle or practice some meditation or visualization exercises. Just make sure you remember to do something with the creative side of your mind, or else the structured routine of your life might just overtake you this month. Next, we have wealth and finances with the Queen of Pentacles and the Three of Swords. The Queen is about being logical and responsible, taking care of herself and others. I think, especially with the runes, you're going to start working towards a long-term financial goal. You might start learning how to invest, and I'm thinking this sort of oblique relationship I see right on the very edge of the mat is an advisor of some kind. I think you'll either work with a financial consultant of some sort, or you'll find a financial mentor to follow and learn from. However, the Three of Swords says it's going to be tough. Maybe you don't have a lot of extra money to put away, or it's hard for you to make ends meet already, but I feel like you really want to invest in yourself and your future to make sure that you're taken care of later. It's not going to be easy putting aside money every time money comes in for you. However, I just want you to remember that your future is worth a little discomfort in the present. Our brains are very wired for instant gratification and come up with all kinds of things and reasons why you can't save money because you need to do this, or you need to pay that, or you have to spend money on this. But if you looked at what you spend money on regularly, I bet that you could find a way to do it. Remember, look at other perspectives and possibilities. That's your guidance for the month. It'll give you new ideas and new ways to go about things. And I think that will be helpful for you to figure out how to really start working toward this long-term goal you have. Also, with that communication rune, talk to everyone about it. Don't try to hide what you're doing. Ask questions. Don't be afraid to look stupid. If you're trying to do something you've never done before, of course you're not going to know how to do it. That just makes sense, right? I promise, no one will judge you or think you're asking stupid questions. Everyone has to start somewhere. And there's a lot more compassionate people in the world than anyone really ever gives credit for. Don't be afraid to talk to people. This month, that's going to be a great ally to your financial future. Career and business is the Knight of Pentacles and the Two of Swords. The Knight talks about hard work and being very productive, while the Two of Swords is a tough decision that you need to make. So there's going to be some sort of choice you have to make concerning your career, and it's going to be a hard one. It's not going to be clear which one you should choose, but I'm getting the feeling that's because both options are good options for you. Especially with the overwhelmingly positive runes you have in this house, all's well that ends well. No matter which choice you make, as long as you continue to work hard and keep communication flowing and open, you will have great success with your career this month. Whether you're looking for a promotion, advancement, some sort of collaboration with someone else, whatever it is that you're working towards, no matter what choice you make, you will make it work and it will be in your favor. There's too much positivity in this house for it not to. For social groups and other people, we have the Page of Pentacles and Ace of Swords. Wow. You're going to have a great month with other people, Group 1. I am telling you, that communication rune showing up right next to the sun, it's just reinforcing this. Your social interactions, whether it's with coworkers, friends, neighbors, I don't care who, it's going to be on point this month. You're going to have great interactions, gain new perspective on things if you keep your open mind. The Ace of Swords is all about success, and the Page of Pentacles is about bringing the things that you want into fruition. It's one of the manifesting cards. So your words are very powerful this month, Group 1. I dare to say you're going to have a bit of a silver tongue. Most people are going to want to interact with you, and you're going to be able to effortlessly interact with others in mutually beneficial exchanges. Communication is the name of the game for you this month, Group 1. I am telling you. After all that, we have love and relationships with the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Cups. No runes in this house, and these cards kind of tell me why. I'm seeing stability and the ultimate ruler of emotion here. So that means one of two things. You're either in a very stable relationship that you're satisfied with at the moment, so the runes had no comment because it's just going to keep on keeping on that way, or you aren't looking for a relationship right now. You're working on mastering your own emotions and learning to keep your own peace without needing anyone else to validate you. So there were no runes because right now you're not calling in any kind of relationship or love or significant other because you're focused on yourself, or you're happy keeping yourself occupied. Take whichever message resonates. I'm hearing both equally as strongly. And finally, in guidance, Nine of Pentacles and Queen of Cups. Nine of Pentacles is independence and self-sufficiency, while the Queen of Cups is compassion and understanding for others. So again, keep an open mind whenever you have a conflict or decision to make. Try and consider other ways of thinking and perspectives without fear. And make sure you step back and cool off. Get it? Because the ice room showed up here? Anyway, it's important that you make sure you aren't reacting emotionally to things. Keep calm, but don't emotionally detach from a situation. Make sure you are coming at things from a place of compassion and understanding. However, that doesn't mean be a pushover either. I just want to remind you, Group 1, don't be a doormat. Consider all sides, understand other points of view, and set clear boundaries for yourself. Really step back from things and ask what will make you happy, ultimately. What is the decision that was going to make the best outcome for you? Doing this little bit of extra mental work this month is gonna really help you in your long-term peace and happiness. Okay, now that we're done with all that, let's have an oracle card for your main obstacle you'll need to overcome for the month. We have ego, the mind, vanity, and your status quo. Appearances matter, bound to expectations or approval. So, remember how we talked about your fears and anxieties in your house of self if you tried considering different perspectives and ways of thinking? This month is going to be about overcoming your ego, overcoming your fear of what other people will think of you and the image that you put out in the world. Don't be afraid to change. Change isn't something to fear. It is something overwhelmingly positive. But your shadow side, the part of you that tries to uphold the current status quo because it's been working for you, tries to stop you from changing because that would make things uncertain. And uncertainty isn't safe. It's scary, or at least it is according to your subconscious mind. When you're dealing with your ego, your fears and anxieties, getting in the way of you trying to expand your horizons, just remember your affirmation for the month. I choose to be joyful and grateful. My emotional well-being is at peace. Change isn't scary. You're still safe. You're still you. Just remember that. And finally, I always like to try and answer a question at the end of my readings, so I'm going to clean all this up and we're going to pull a couple cards to answer a question that's on your mind. Now, this month, these cards specifically are talking about relationships. They can be platonic, romantic, familial, friendships, significant others. The nature of the connection doesn't matter. It's just answering a question about a connection that you have a question about. So I'll just have you focus on your question for a few moments while I shuffle. And we have karmic, destined soul ties, and there will be a return. So, whoever you're asking about, they are a destined connection for you. If they've wandered out of your life for a while or haven't contacted you in a while, or have become estranged in some way, whatever the case is, don't worry. The separation is only temporary, like the cards say right here. There will be a return. Thank you very much for being here, Group 1. I appreciate you. As always, if you are interested in a personal reading, I will leave a link to my website in the description box below. And remember, I will never reach out to you to solicit you for a reading, but I am always here if you need one. I hope I was able to help you along on your journey, and I'll see you next time. Hi, Group 2. You chose the strawberry creamsicle, creamy and decadent. Delicious. For your affirmation of the month, you have the 𝓢𝓮𝓹𝓽𝓮𝓻 diamond. I choose to be emotionally intelligent and let my intuition guide my life. We'll come back to this near the end of the reading with the obstacle you need to overcome for the month. Now, I thought it would be fun to start this month's reading with a rune cast, and then we will get some clarifiers from the tarot afterwards. So these are my hematite runes, and I'm just going to cast them over my mat. Next, I will remove any that didn't land on the mat or landed face down. And then we'll see what the messages are from the remaining runes. I'll start with the first house, which is self. And here you have ice. This rune literally means to be frozen, or more accurately, to stop in place. You can see that it's so far off the mat that it's almost not touching it at all. And I think that means that this month you are stepping back and keeping to yourself. It sort of looks like self-isolation to me. For home and family, you have some type of success. But more than that, it's the kind of success that isn't fleeting. It lasts. The tarot will clarify more, but this is definitely a good thing to have in any house. Nothing in your health and well-being this month, but that doesn't necessarily mean that nothing is going on. When I pull tarot cards, I'll get an idea of why the runes didn't have a comment on this house. For finances and wealth, you have nurturing. So similar to Group 1 in a way, you're looking to nurture your finances so they can grow this month. That doesn't necessarily mean tightening your belt or going without this month. Again, the tarot will give more specific answers. In career and business, you have fate. That's very interesting. It's the only rune in this section, so I don't know if it's positive or negative or what it means precisely yet. The cards will have to tell us more. Now for social. Phew, look at all this we have in social life and interpersonal relationships. Wow. Okay, so it looks like there's a lot of protection here. A lot. You have 2 protection runes in this one house. There's also creativity here, as well as change and necessity, which is overlapping into your love and relationships. So as far as your social circle, I think you're going to be very guarded this month, which I think ties back to yourself, which was stepping away and keeping to yourself, which I think is a change for you. I get the feeling you are normally the life of the party, or often the center of attention. Or at the very least, you try to make it to every group function and event that your friends or coworkers or family or anyone else are putting on. But with all this guarded protection, it feels like you are burnt out this month. You've stretched yourself too thin. So you're going to step away from things and sort of protect yourself from activities and excitement and everything because it's become a bit too much. And with the creativity here, you might be introverting so that you can focus on yourself and your own creative pursuits, such as drawing or writing, meditation, visualizations, just things that exercise that more nebulous, less structured and logical side of your mind. Now, need overlaps both your social life as well as love and partnerships, and it's very close to the center. So it strikes me as being a core belief that you hold, that you need to have a romantic partner and engage in social activity as much as possible. Again, the cards will explain a little bit more on that, but on the one hand, I think you enjoy engaging in social activities. And if you have a significant other or romantic relationship or connection of some kind, you very much enjoy that too. But the need being so close to the center of the mat makes me think that it's becoming a burden, having all these relationships to maintain, friends and coworkers, family, spouses. In your mind, it's becoming more of a need than a want. Does that difference in energy make sense? Instead of being fun for you, it looks like it's starting to become a chore to keep up with everyone else, and that's what's burning you out. Lastly, in advice and guidance, we have happiness, relationships, and dawn, which is a positive change. I feel like the runes are reminding you to be happy, that your social groups and circles really do make you happy, and stepping back from them is perfectly fine. Just don't do a complete 180-degree change, if you know what I mean. Don't become a complete recluse just because you're burnt out and need a break. Absolutely, take a break if you need it, but remember that the reason you have so many social obligations and engagements is because you like them. Being away from them entirely or for too long is bound to make you unhappy, which is definitely not the goal. So instead of completely self-isolating, maybe just cut things back to fewer or smaller gatherings. Organize less meetups and let other people handle them, that sort of thing. It's okay to step back, but don't completely self-isolate and hide from the world entirely, because that won't make you happy either. Okay, now let's pull some tarot cards and clarifiers to get a more in-depth message. We have the Moon for self, the High Priestess for home, the Seven of Swords for health and well-being, the Six of Swords for wealth and finances, the Five of Swords for career and business, the Four of Swords for social life and interpersonal relationships, Three of Swords for love and partnerships, the Two of Swords for guidance. Holy cow, that's a lot of swords! The Suit of Swords is associated with air, which has a connotation of swiftness. So I feel like this month is going to move by fast for you, Group 2. A sort of blink and you miss it type deal. For clarifiers, we have the Moon, clarified by the Eight of Wands, the High Priestess, clarified by the Seven of Wands, the Seven of Swords, clarified by the Six of Wands, the Six of Swords, clarified by the Five of Wands, the Five of Swords, clarified by the Ace of Pentacles, the Four of Swords, clarified by the High Priestess, the Three of Swords, clarified by Temperance, and the Two of Swords, clarified by Death. Half of these houses are clarified by Wands, which are the suit of fire. So I feel like I should warn you to just be a little careful this month, because when you mix fire and air together, you tend to get a bit of an explosion. So things might be a little volatile this month for you, Group 2, especially regarding health and well-being and wealth and finances, just judging by the minor arcana that are represented here. But anyway, let's get on to interpreting all of this. So first off, for self, we have the Moon and the Eight of Wands. So it looks like you are looking to separate yourself from others, even if that means you have to travel. And it looks like it's rooted in anxiety. You may have already planned or scheduled a trip that involves a flight, or you're thinking about it or fantasizing about it in order to get away from your current overwhelm and burnout. And like I say, it looks like it's rooted in anxiety. The Moon is a lot of fears and hidden anxieties, and I think in this case, you just want to get away from everything because it's overwhelming you and you're so burnt out. There's nothing saying that this is a bad idea. In fact, it might be a very good idea if you have the means to get away for a little while and focus on yourself. Just, again, remember that you do enjoy social circles. That's why you have them. So don't entirely unplug and disconnect. But step back and let other people handle things. If you're going to go on a trip, take your phone, but put it on Do Not Disturb except for like an hour or two per day. Things like that. Disconnecting and focusing on yourself doesn't mean that you have to disappear off the face of the earth. Next, for home life, we have the High Priestess and the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is competing in some way, and the rune you have in this house is one for long-lasting success. It makes me think there must be some sort of, not necessarily argument or disagreement, but some sort of competition in your home between you and a family member. And this is showing me that you're going to come out on top of it, whatever it is. And that is in part because of your intuition. So listen to yourself. If you get a gut feeling about something, follow up with it. It's very likely to be accurate, even if there's no way you could possibly know whatever it is your intuition is telling you. Put another way, you already know how to handle this, so just handle it already. It's going to come out in your favor. In health and well-being, we have the Seven of Swords and the Six of Wands and no runes. Something's going on here. You're being strategic in what you're telling people about your health and well-being, I think. Or at the very least, you're being selective with what you share. It's almost like you're putting on a confident face, even though there's something that might not be as great as you're making it out to seem. I'm not sure what it is, but I have the feeling you know what I'm talking about. And since the runes didn't have a comment on the situation, nothing is going to change with that this month. You'll be able to keep up this successful, confident facade you're putting on without anyone noticing. For wealth and finances, it's the Six of Swords and the Five of Wands, and you have the rune of nurturing here. So you're turning away from old bad habits with your finances this month, Group 2. Good for you. It's going to be difficult, especially if you normally give your money away to other people. Buying drinks when you're out with your friends, giving money to your children or your spouse or family members, picking up the tab if you go out to eat, that sort of thing. There's gonna be some conflict because people are used to you acting a certain way, and now you're gonna try and be more responsible with your money, and they are not gonna particularly like it. But if you want to start nurturing your finances and seeing your wealth grow this month, then that's the way it's gonna have to be. Too bad for them, they'll just have to get used to it. After that, we have career and business with the Five of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. And hey, if it's the only pentacle on the board, it's always preferable for it to be in a financial sector like career and business. Pentacles do rule over physical abundance. And the Ace is a great card to have, especially with the Fate rune. It signifies a new beginning and one that will ultimately be financially beneficial to you. So it might be that you're going to find a new job or start a new job this month, or maybe start your own business if you're thinking about becoming an entrepreneur. Now with the Five of Swords, it looks like it may be a bit of a struggle. All the swords are sort of tangled together on the card, like some sort of fight is going on. So whatever this new start in your career is, it definitely is a part of your destiny and will ultimately be a good thing, but you may have to fight for it. That could mean negotiating for a promotion or a raise, or it could mean all the struggles associated with starting a new business and getting it off the ground. Either way, it will be difficult with obstacles, but ultimately a positive thing for you. Next is your social life and interpersonal relationships. And we have the Four of Swords and the High Priestess. She's shown up twice in your spread and represents intuition, while the Four of Swords is rest and recuperation. So I think the cards are encouraging you to step away and rest and recuperate as needed. And the High Priestess is telling you to use your intuition to know when enough is enough. In either direction. Know when it's enough that you need to interact with people again, and know when you've been letting your social life consume everything else and you need to step back. You have to find that balance between yourself and your friends, family, coworkers, and loved ones. Otherwise, you're just going to get burnt out again. Also, I feel like some of you need to hear this. If you step back from your social circles for a little while, they are not going to abandon you and leave you behind. Let me repeat that for the back of the house. Just because you are taking time for yourself does not mean that no one is ever going to invite you out to do anything ever again, or that your friends and family and everyone else will forget about you. They will still be there for you after you have rested and recuperated. Trust me. You don't have to be around everyone for every second of the day for them to remember you exist and love and appreciate you. Okay, in love and relationships, the Three of Swords and Temperance. So this tells me that you need more balance in your current relationship. Either you give all the time, and it's getting exhausting for you, or conversely, perhaps you take all the time, and you know it, and it's making you uneasy because you're afraid your partner is going to get sick of this behavior from you, and it's giving you some unease and anxiety. As it stands, you feel like you need this relationship that you have. And similarly to your social situation, it's beginning to become a burden to you. In this case, instead of stepping back from this relationship, I think it looks like the best thing would be to have a conversation about this imbalance that you have between you. Because it's not going to change or get any better if you don't talk about it. And eventually that feeling of being burnt out because you're clinging to this relationship and afraid to speak up, it's going to make you feel like you're stuck with this person, which is only going to make you resentful towards your partner. Finally, in advice and guidance, is the Two of Swords and Death. Don't get excited or nervous about the death card being present here. It doesn't literally mean death, I promise. It can, of course, but in this case, it looks to me like there's a difficult choice here that you have to make, and I'm pretty sure it's the burnout that you're feeling and the choice to step back from things and recuperate. Death in this case is a change, changing from being that person that will do anything and go anywhere with anyone from your social circles and offer up help and offer to organize and offer to do whatever they want or need, into the person that does things if asked and tells people when there's too much on your plate already. The cards are telling you this behavior that is burning you out needs to stop. I just heard, if you don't pull the weed out by the roots, it's just going to grow back. This situation is the same. If you don't stop what's burning you out at the source, it's just going to keep happening over and over again. Okay, now that we're done with all that, let's have an oracle card for your obstacle to overcome for the month. And we have Mars, heat, passion, anger, attraction, vitality, and action. So, we talked about your burnout, right? Burning, fire, heat. That's what you're overcoming this month. The lull in your vitality and your desire to take action, your lack of passion for things. That's all burnout. And to do that, you need to reevaluate how you insert yourself into your social situations. Learn to ask for help when you need it. Tell people when you've bitten off more than you can chew, or when something is just too much for you. Remember your affirmation for the month. I choose to be emotionally intelligent and let my intuition be my guide. You know when you take too much on. You know when you have a million things happening and you don't have time for all of them. So you work double time and long hours just to get everything done. Be emotionally intelligent. Tune into your own emotions and needs. And say no when you know it's too much. Ask for help when it becomes too much. You can do it, Group 2. I believe in you. Finally, I always like to try and answer a question at the end of my readings. So I'm going to clean all this up and we're going to pull a couple of cards to answer a question that's on your mind. Now these cards specifically are talking about relationships. They can be platonic or romantic, familial, friendships, significant others. The nature of the connection doesn't matter. It's just answering a question about a connection that you have a question about. So I'll just have you focus on your question for a few moments while I shuffle. And we have, okay, let's see what fell out. Karmic, destined soul ties, and let me get one more. Someone has unmet needs. So it looks like this connection is a karmic one. This person was definitely meant to come into your life and have an impact on it, especially with the destined soul ties card. However, someone has unmet needs, so whoever you're asking about, whatever this connection is, they need or want something from you, and you aren't able or willing to do it, even if you don't realize that's what's going on in this particular situation. I hope that was helpful. Thank you very much for being here, Group 2. I appreciate you. As always, if you are interested in a personal reading, I will leave a link to my website in the description box below. And remember, I will never reach out to you to solicit you for a reading, but I am always here if you need one. I hope I was able to help you along on your journey, and I'll see you next time. Hello, Group 3. You chose the chocolate fudgesicle. That used to be my younger brother's favorite when he was little. He called them pudgicles. For your affirmation of the month, you have highlight. I have everything I need within me. We will come back to this near the end of the reading with the obstacle that you need to overcome for the month. Now, I thought it would be fun if we started this month's reading with a rune cast, and then we'll get some clarifiers from the tarot afterwards. So these are my hematite runes, and I'm just going to cast them over my mat. Next, I'll remove any that didn't land on the mat or landed face down, and then we'll see what the messages are from the remaining runes. Normally I start with the first house, which is self, but it looks like you have nothing in your houses of self, home and family, or health and well-being this month. That doesn't mean that there's nothing going on or there's no messages. When I pull tarot cards, I'll get an idea of why the runes didn't comment on these houses. For finances and wealth, I'm seeing a struggle that you're going to have to face head-on, even though you probably are not going to want to. It may be something that you've been putting off, or it could be something new. The cards will explain in more detail. But it's definitely something that you have to face, and if you try to avoid it or put it off, it's only going to keep getting in your way. In career and business, you got 2 travel omens, the horse and travel. So it's very likely you're either going to travel for business this month, or you're going to start making travel plans that are necessary for your occupation. If it's not travel, then it's a lot of swift movement and change, maybe changes to personnel in your place of work, or changes to the scope of your position or what you do for work. In social life and interpersonal relationships, it looks very competitive, but also very positive, which is sort of weird, but I'm thinking perhaps you might be competing with friends or coworkers, maybe on a work sports team or trivia night at a bar, that sort of energy. So there's a lot of competition, but it's fun and something that you all enjoy. So while it's sort of combative, if you will, it's still positive. In love and partnerships, we have vitality and movement. So possibly taking the plunge and moving forward into a relationship with someone, or taking your relationship to the next level if you are already in one. You also have an overwhelmingly positive rune here that signifies a satisfactory, very positive resolution to something. So if you have been nervous or apprehensive about a relationship, this looks like the month to go through with whatever you've been wanting, either to make a new official relationship or take a relationship you already have to the next level. The runes are saying go for it. We'll see what the cards say about it in a minute. And finally, for advice and guidance, I see nurturing, secrets, and reaping what you sow. So that says to me there's no need to boast or broadcast your plans aloud to people. Just carefully select the seeds you want to sow for the month, nurture them, and you will get what you want in the end. Okay, Group 3, let's pull some tarot cards and clarifiers to get a more in-depth message. We have, I almost forgot to show you. We have the Page of Cups for self, the Knight of Swords for home and family, the Ten of Wands for health and well-being, the Nine of Wands for finances and wealth, Four of Swords for career and business, Five of Swords for social life and interpersonal relationships, Two of Swords for relationships and love, and then Justice for your advice. Lots of air and fire with all the swords and wands. Tempered a little with the cups, so just judging from the minor arcana here, it looks like it's going to be a pretty fast-paced, exciting month. But there'll be some mellow moments for you as well, so it shouldn't be too overwhelming. As for clarifiers, the Page of Cups is clarified by the Star. The Knight of Swords is clarified by the Ace of Cups. The Ten of Wands is clarified by the King of Cups. The Nine of Wands is clarified by the Seven of Pentacles. The Four of Swords is clarified by the Knight of Wands. The Five of Swords is clarified by the Page of Wands. The Two of Swords is clarified by the Ten of Wands. And Justice is clarified by the Page of Pentacles. So a little more water to balance out all that air and fire now. I stand by my earlier statement, Group 3. It looks like you're going to have a fast-paced, relatively exciting month with some chill, mellow spots here and there. So, starting with self, we have the Page of Cups and the Star. This is curiosity, new ideas, new ways of thinking about things, and hope. You are just full of all the wide-eyed curiosity and wanting to learn new things this month, and you're hopeful that you'll be able to do it. Honestly, when I saw these cards, all I could think was, oh, that's so sweet. So yeah, this month is going to be a lot of inquiring for you, wanting to learn new things, and a lot of hope and optimism. That's really nice, Group 3. Next, we have the Knight of Swords and the Ace of Cups in home and family, which says to me a lot of love and compassion and understanding, but also that your home is very focused and action-oriented. If you have kids, they're very focused on school or after-school activities, for example. If you have a spouse, they're focused on their own hobbies. If you live with other family members, they all have things that they're doing in their own lives. You still love and care about each other. You're just all off kind of doing your own things, which is why there wasn't an overall rune for the month here. It's not that you don't have a connection between all of you. It's just that you're all busy with your own things, so there's no overall family-oriented activity or tie or issue or anything like that to talk about. In health and well-being, we have the Ten of Wands and the King of Cups. Ten of Wands is a burden, and the King of Cups is the ruler of emotions, which says to me that you don't want your health or well-being to be a burden to anyone, so you are private about it. Nothing looks like it's happening with your health and well-being this month, hence the lack of a rune for this reading, Group 3. But in general, it seems like you handle your own health and mental wellness and don't really mention it to anyone else. Not that you're really trying to keep it private, but more so you don't see a reason to bother anyone with it. Just so long as you recognize that your health and well-being is not a bother to the people who love you, and if you wanted or needed to tell them something, they would be happy to hear it and help work through it, then that's fine. I feel like some of you needed to hear that message, so just telling you what I heard. After that, in wealth and finances, it's the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles is an investment, while the Nine of Wands is a test of your faith. So, in this instance, I feel like you're investing in something or have been for a while, and you're getting impatient, waiting to see dividends on that investment, which is testing your faith that it was a good investment. With what the runes say, I feel like it's something that you've been struggling with for a while, that you either need to do something about or make a decision on. And the more you ignore what you need to do, the more stuck you're going to feel, and the more it's going to get in your way and take up your thought space and just be a general nuisance. Either pull out of the investment, whatever it is, or commit to seeing it through. Either way, you need to decide what you're doing and decide to be content with whatever decision you make and however it ends up. For career and business, it's the Four of Swords and the Knight of Wands. Knights always represent swiftness and movement, and that ties in with the message from the runes that said either travel or quick change was happening this month. If you don't have travel plans for work now, I think it's going to be a quick, impulsive decision to go, since the Knight of Wands is very impulsive, being ruled by fire. I know traveling for work won't resonate with everyone, but it's the main message I'm getting here. Travel, travel, travel. Just keep an eye out for an opportunity to travel that might just present itself to you, even if travel isn't in the plans right now. Like I say, this could be a very quick, impulsive, last-minute decision for you. The Four of Swords is here to remind you to rest and recuperate while you are traveling. You don't have to go, go, go every second that you're away. It's okay to take some time to yourself as well. You'll still get the work done that you need to. Next is social life and interpersonal relationships, and we have the Five of Swords and the Page of Wands. Five of Swords is more competition, not necessarily a conflict, so that goes back to the message from the runes. The Page of Wands is a free spirit, which again is that sort of fun, playful, sunny, whimsical energy I saw with the runes. This really looks like you're going to have a lot of friendly competition this month, and it'll be fun for both sides. You're definitely going to have fun at the very least. I don't think you're going to take it too seriously, so even if you were to lose or not come in first place, you won't mind. And neither will anyone else for that matter. It honestly just looks like a lot of fun this month for you, Group 3. In love and relationships, it's the 2 of Swords and the 10 of Wands. To me, this says there's going to be a difficult choice you have to make. 10 of Wands is a burden, but I'm pretty sure in this case it's a mental one instead of a physical one. I'm thinking you're making a mountain out of a molehill in this instance. The rune said there was a situation in your love life that you want to take forward to the next level. I'm assuming that's the choice here. It's either friendship that you want to become a relationship, or a romantic relationship that you want to take to the next level, whatever that means for you. But you're nervous about it, which is what is making this a hard choice for you. Just bite the bullet already and do it! The only problem here is the one that you're creating in your own mind with your uncertainty and anxiety. Be uncomfortable, that's fine. The worst thing that could happen is you get a rejection. And with ingwas here, that is very unlikely. It's a very positive rune. So stop making up obstacles that don't exist. Okay, and finally for guidance and advice, it's Justice and the Page of Pentacles, which is developing new skills and abilities and cause and effect. The amount of effort that you put in is the amount of return you get. The message from the runes was being quiet about what you're sowing and reaping the benefits later. So this is pretty much the same. This month, decide on what is important to you. And once you make that decision, really focus on it and stick to your guns. You'll get a return on your investment of time and effort, and you don't need to broadcast your intentions to anyone. Just decide what you want to work towards and work on it for you, not anyone else. Okay, now that we're done with that, let's have an oracle card for your main obstacle to overcome this month. And we have distance, retreat, timeout, blockage, and emotional or physical distance. So we talked about how your social and interpersonal connections are going to be a lot of fun competition this month. In your love and relationships, there's a choice that you have to make that you perceive as being difficult, even though it really shouldn't be. Well, the goal for this month is to overcome your desire to be reclusive. Don't hide away from the world this month. Go out into the thick of things and have lots of fun experiences. Make decisions, indulge in relationships. Do not be worried about what other people will think of you, especially if this is outside your normal comfort zone. Remember your affirmation for the month. I have everything I need within me. You don't need external validation or approval. Go out and do things for you this month. Don't be a hermit. And finally, I always like to try and answer a question at the end of my readings. So I'm going to clean all this up and we're going to pull a couple of cards to answer a question that's on your mind. Now these cards specifically are talking about relationships. They can be platonic or romantic, familial, friendships, significant others. The nature of the connection doesn't matter. It's just answering a question about a connection you have a question about. So I'll just have you focus on your question or situation for a few moments while I shuffle. Whoa, okay. We have lessons are being taught. So let's get 2 more. I was disillusioned. And lies and partial truths. So this says to me there's some sort of separation going on with the connection that you're asking about. And it looks like someone didn't respect someone else's boundaries. Maybe there was some deception or half-truths that were exposed. And one or both of you realize the other person wasn't who you thought they were. There's a karmic lesson to learn here with this person. And I just heard, learn to love yourself more than them. So stop worrying about this other person. The relationship wasn't right, either because of timing or because of compatibility or many other possible reasons. Don't worry about their separation from you. You're more important than that. Stop giving away your mental space to them. If they want to return, they will, but even if they don't, that's okay. Thank you very much for being here, Group 3. I appreciate you. As always, if you're interested in a personal reading, I will leave a link to my website in the description box below. And remember, I will never reach out to you to solicit you for a reading, but I'm always here if you need one. I hope I was able to help you along on your journey, and I'll see you next time. Hey there, Group 4. You chose the chocolate-dipped popsicle. Looks tasty. For your affirmation this month, you have garnet. I'm able to ground myself to feel emotionally safe and secure. We will come back to this near the end of the reading with the obstacle you need to overcome for the month. Now, I thought it would be fun to start this month's reading with a rune cast, and then we'll get some clarifiers from the tarot afterwards. So these are my hematite runes, and I'm just going to cast them over my mat. Next, I'll remove any that didn't land on the mat or landed face down, and then we'll see what the messages are from the remaining runes. I'll start with the first house, which is self, and here you have a rune of protection, thorn. It's a good omen. It portends the ability to change or shape a bad situation into a better, more positive one. Hopefully I'll get a few more details from the tarot cards once I pull those. In home and family, we have the sun. Home life and family is overwhelmingly positive. I have the feeling that your family is sort of the center of your whole world, and it's in a very positive way. For health and well-being, we have necessity and something uncertain, which is frustrating you. Since necessity is reversed, I'm inclined to think that you have been neglecting your health, or perhaps a certain aspect of your health. And the thing that's been frustrating you is a symptom of that neglect. Your house of well-being is also tied to your wealth and finances by the rune of fate. You can see it's evenly overlapping the divide between the two. So that makes me think that you've been neglecting your health because of finances. For example, you don't think you have the money for a copay at a medical office, so you've been avoiding going to the doctor, or the doctor's office is far away and you don't think you can spare the gas to drive there, that sort of thing. Nothing in your wealth and finances except it being tied to your health and well-being by fate, so we'll have to wait for the tarot cards to get a little more detail. In career and business, you have an opportunity that you need to take. Since it's reversed, it looks to me like it's a choice that's up to you, but if you don't take it or make whatever changes necessary, things are going to go downhill. So it's not an inherently negative situation, just a warning that you really should take this opportunity that's being presented to you. For social life and interpersonal relationships, there's really nothing. This one rune isn't really overlapping enough to consider it, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's nothing going on. When I pull tarot cards, I'll get an idea of why the runes didn't have a comment on this house. For love and partnerships, you have communication and obstacles. I think communication with your romantic pair, whether it's a spouse or a significant other, or someone that you want to be your significant other but isn't currently, is very important. I know communication can be difficult, especially if you're trying to broach an uncomfortable topic or you're not used to communicating openly, but I can't stress enough that it's important. And it looks like this month you're either trying to avoid communication or you're having a hard time with it. And in advice and guidance, we have dawn, gaining new perspectives on situations. So your advice this month is similar to group 1's. You need to really stop and consider other perspectives when making a decision or trying to resolve a conflict of some kind. It's the only way you're going to get the best outcome in the end. Okay, group 4, let's pull some tarot cards and clarifiers to get a more in-depth message. We have the Six of Wands for self, the Chariot for home and family, the Lovers for health and well-being, the High Priest for finances and wealth, the Queen of Cups for career and business, the Knight of Cups for social and interpersonal relationships, the Ten of Swords for love and relationships, and the High Priestess for guidance and advice. Lots of major arcana in your spread, group 4. Important things are happening this month. Let's get some clarifiers. The Six of Wands is clarified by the Tower. The Chariot is clarified by the Queen of Swords. The Lovers is clarified by the Ten of Cups. The High Priest is clarified by the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups is clarified by the Four of Wands. The Knight of Cups is clarified by the Knight of Swords. The Ten of Swords is clarified by the Page of Swords. And the High Priestess is clarified by the Three of Pentacles. So, firstly, we have Self, Six of Wands, and the Tower. So the Six of Wands tells you to believe in yourself and your accomplishments. Through thick and thin, you are capable, and you know that. It looks like there's going to be something that shakes up your belief in yourself. The Tower is a sudden change or upheaval that really rocks your world, or in this case, your inner world. However, the rune Thorn says that even if the situation seems bad, you have the chance to make it something positive for yourself. If you persevere and continue to believe that you are capable, not only will you find out that you're correct, but your faith in yourself will be stronger too. Next is home and family, and we have the Chariot and the Queen of Swords. I feel like your family runs like a well-oiled machine. The Queen of Swords I associate with that sort of girl boss energy, and the Chariot is control and willpower and success. And since the sun is here in the runes, I think that you put a lot of time and effort into your family, whether that's kids, a spouse, your extended family, whatever it is, you give it a lot of time and effort. And you enjoy doing that. It's not a burden or a problem for you. These cards just really say you have your family handled, if you will. For health and well-being, it's the Lovers and the Ten of Cups. It's funny, these cards are almost the same thing. They both talk about love and harmony and alignment, all very positive and good things. However, the Lovers also includes a choice. So I think the message here is to make the choice to care about your health and well-being more. I know your health is tied to your finances, but I promise you, nothing is more important in this life than your health. A therapist is not too expensive. A specialist isn't going to break the bank. Going to a checkup at the doctor's office doesn't take too much time. You owe it to your body and your mind to make sure everything is in working order. You only get one body and one mind in this lifetime. You should make sure that it's all running smoothly. In wealth and finances, the Hierophant, or the High Priest, and the Queen of Cups, which talks about tradition and emotional stability. So traditionally, you aren't used to spending money on yourself. And no, I don't mean not shopping or going out to eat. I mean spending money on your own well-being and emotional stability. Paying for a therapist, paying for doctor's visits, paying for tests that need to be done. You aren't used to having to do any of that. You usually just let that all go by the wayside because you're quote-quote fine. And this month, it seems like that isn't necessarily going to be the case. Don't get too nervous. I'm only saying that this month you might feel like, for example, say you have a kink in your neck. And like your health and well-being rune said, it's going to bother and frustrate you that it won't go away on its own. So you may have to make the choice to go to the chiropractor and get adjusted so that the annoying pain goes away, which you'll have to pay out of pocket for. And that's something that you're not used to having to do historically. That's just an example, but do you see what I mean? Doing something for your mind or body that you aren't used to having to pay for. But if you do it, it will make you happy in the long run. After that, we have career and business, Queen of Cups, again, and the Four of Wands. Okay, so about that opportunity you need to accept. I think it has something to do with either going to some sort of a party or taking time off work to go to some sort of gathering. We have the Queen of Cups again, which links us back to your finances, which are intrinsically linked to your health and well-being. You see this thread I'm following? I think that this time away from work is going to be important to your health as well. Even if right now you're saying, but I don't have time to take off, or I can't because I have all this work I have to do, the opportunity is going to present itself. The runes are saying you really need to make it work, no matter how tedious or annoying the arrangements seem like they're going to be. Next we have social and interpersonal relationships with two knights, the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Swords. I think you're too focused on other areas of your life, like work for example, to be bothered with social situations, like going out with friends or spending time with family members or coworkers outside of the office. Knights are about swiftness and movement, and the Knight of Swords is especially goal-oriented, sort of like a one-track mind. And on the other hand, the Knight of Cups is a little more on the creative side, daydreaming or being inspired. So I think between being very driven and goal-oriented and being caught up in your own mental world, Social gatherings have sort of gone by the wayside for you. For love and relationships, we have the Ten of Swords and the Page of Swords, and I believe this represents the two possible outcomes you have here. The runes said that there would be communication obstacles between you and a romantic partner or interest. The Ten of Swords is what happens if you don't try to change the situation and keep letting it go on as it is. And the Page of Swords is what happens if you do try to strengthen your communication. If you don't try to communicate and let things go on as they are, the Ten of Swords is a very painful ending. I'm not going to be gentle with this group 4. It's basically one of the worst cards you can get portending relationships. The Ten of Swords is a deep hurt and betrayal, and in this case it stems from an inability or unwillingness to communicate. In contrast, the Page of Swords is curiosity, a search for knowledge, new ways of communicating. If you make an effort to change how you communicate with your partner or significant other, or the party that you're interested in being your significant other, it will make your bond stronger, and you'll be able to communicate better because of it. You will want to communicate better, differently, more efficiently. You'll be curious about how your partner thinks or feels or reacts to things. Or the other option is to let the connection go. Two pretty clear paths here, group 4. It just really depends on what you want to do and what you want the outcome to be. Finally, in advice and guidance is the High Priestess and the Three of Pentacles. Now, the High Priestess is intuition and the subconscious, while the Three of Pentacles is teamwork. So your advice to me sounds like you need to collaborate with other people this month to get things done, especially communicating in your love and relationships, but also I think in the social life that you've been neglecting. And whatever opportunity you're going to have to take space from work, I think this will also be especially important. Because basically it sort of sounds like you put your nose to the grindstone and forgot about relationships with other people and how important they are. So with the Dawn rune, take this as a new perspective. You can't get anywhere alone. And even if you do, you'll be awfully lonely when you get there. Having genuine relationships with your family, your friends, your partner, your coworkers, whoever it is that's in your life is devastatingly important. And while it's easy to ignore them and let them wilt, your advice this month is to try and nurture them. And don't say, but I don't have any friends or I don't know how. Use your intuition. That gut feeling will steer you in the right direction, so stop ignoring it. Okay, now that we're all done with that, let's have an oracle card for your main obstacle to overcome for the month. And we have winter, turning inward, major changes, and a transition from light to darkness. So guess what you're supposed to overcome? Your proclivity for being closed off and shutting everyone else out while you work or spend time in your own little world or whatever else it is you do that doesn't involve interacting with other people. So this month, the goal is to cut that nonsense out. Remember your affirmation for the month. I am able to ground myself and feel emotionally safe and secure. If social situations make you uncomfortable and that's why you avoid them, remember that you can always step away from the noise and chaos of a large group. Or tell a smaller group that you need to separate for a minute and just take time and space to yourself. Social gatherings don't have to be stressful or make you anxious. No one is expecting you to suddenly be this great extrovert life of the party when you've been closed off and introverted in the past. Just take small steps. I promise that you can do it. Remember the Six of Wands and self. You need to believe in yourself no matter what. And finally, I always like to try and answer a question at the end of my readings. So I'm going to clean all this up and we're going to pull a couple of cards to answer a question that's on your mind. Now, these cards specifically are talking about relationships. They can be platonic or romantic, familial, friendships, significant others. The nature of the connection doesn't matter. It's just answering a question about a connection that you have a question about. So I'll just have you focus on your question for a few moments while I shuffle. This one was a little tricky. The bottom card is the card that flipped. So I'll be pulling your 3 cards from the bottom of the deck. First, we have miscommunication. After that is there will be a return. And then it's all an act. Ineffective communication again. And whenever a card comes from the bottom of the deck, I always take that to mean it's the topic or thing that's furthest from your mind. So in this case, Group 4, miscommunication, being on the bottom of the deck says to me that you had no idea that there was miscommunication here. You had no idea at all what the real problem or difficulty was. Something happened between you and the person you're thinking about that either went entirely unsaid or came across wrong. However, there will be a return, so they'll come back into your life, or will start talking to you again if they've just been radio silent. It's all an act says to me that they're waiting for you to reach out, or talk to them, or give them an indication that you care about the connection enough to try and fix it. They're sort of acting aloof to get a response or a reaction out of you, and it seems like you've either been neglecting to do that, or, since you don't normally do that, you haven't. Once again, tying back to being caught up in your own goals and in your own little world and not really giving much time and effort to your social connections. All right, with that, thank you very much for being here, Group 4. I appreciate you. As always, if you are interested in a personal reading, I will leave a link to my website in the description box below. And remember, I will never reach out to you to solicit you for a reading, but I am always here if you need one. I hope I was able to help you along on your journey, and I'll see you next time.